All right, so when we model in 3D, we are modeling with polygons. Obviously, you know what polygons are. They're straight-sided shapes, right? Three or more sides. So and the polygons are made up of vertices, edges, and faces. So kind of like this, just as an example, I'm just going to show you on this guy. Um, so here is a face, right? So that's the entirety of the polygon. This is an edge. Each one of these are edges, right? They connect the faces. So you can see a face is three-dimensional, an edge is two-dimensional because it goes across a straight line, and then the vertices, which are the individual points here, they are, 1 point, right? So 1 point, 2 point, and three or more points. Um, so that's what they are, and that's basically the entire model is created utilizing those polygons. All right. Now, when we talk about polygons, we will typically talk about them as quads, tris, quads, and n-gons. Tris means three sides, quads mean four sides, and n-gon means more than four. So five, six, seven, so on and so forth. Generally speaking, we are shooting for quads. So if you see this character is entirely made of quads. And under absolutely at no time do you ever do n-gons, meaning more than four sides. If you have to, you would make tris, but you attempt for quads. Tris are okay for some things, but generally, again, we try for quads. One of the reasons, well, we'll talk about quads anyway, but when I go to put an edge loop, you can see I can put a complete edge loop around because it's able to follow this loop around, right? So we generally try for quads, but there are also tris and n-gons. Uh, the other thing that we have to think about is poly count. So if you look at the two examples here, you can see this one doesn't look too bad actually from this point of view. But if you got closer, you can start to see the faceting. I don't know if you ever played video games and it was on, like, look at the eyebrow here. See how you can see the faces? And over here, see how it's perfectly smooth? Basically, they both are polygons. It's just this one has a limited number and this one has many high polys, right? What we are shooting for is to use as few polygons as necessary with the visual fidelity that is not noticeable. So basically, I want it to be as smooth as it can be while not going super high poly. Just like we have images that, you have a lot of, it's high resolution. Uh, the larger the image, the more pixels it has, the slower the picture will be. So for a single image, it's not a huge deal. But if we had a video and we make it, like 12K video or something, right? It's going to be a lot, and like your computer is not even going to be able to run it because it's just too many pixels. It's the same thing for polygons. The more polygons you have, the computer will run slower. So you'll notice when I go into object mode, he looks pretty smooth, and that's because he's got this modifier on it. But if I lower it, you can start to see um, he's also using some fakes here. Which one do I have? Sculpt. Which one? Which one's gonna be? Okay. Anyway, um, but yeah, so that's the idea is you try to make as low poly as possible while still maintaining the general aesthetic. So actually right here you can see it. See how you can see the faces on the arms? So see like bonk bonk. And then if I go up, you can see one makes it higher and so on and so forth. So, but it's actually low poly. It's just having a modifier applied to it. That's just subdividing the model. So we want to try and keep it as low as possible, especially for real-time situations, meaning like video games. You want your poly count to be real low because the computer needs to process all the logic, all the different models that are in the scene. So you try to make that really small. But even if you're doing stuff that is a pre-rendered sequence, something for like film, um, you still want it low because when you go to like rig it and animate it and just work with it and render it, you're going to be working on it in real time. And if it's really high poly, it's going to be to the point where it's very difficult to work with. So generally keep it as low poly as possible for as long as possible. And then you can up the polys later on in production if you need to, but you try to keep as few of them as possible.